Hello everyone. So, oh, that was loud. So my cart got hit while I was grocery shopping. Just sideswiped and ran off. So it is also currently 10:50 at night, and that's okay because I'm still hungry. But also I'm going to just fix some like the most common comfort food ever, just because it makes me happy. So I'm going to make mac and cheese. This is probably my favorite recipe. First off, you're going to need some things, most of which I also just bought. We'll go over more of the stuff in detailing as to why I don't really measure anything, so just kind of go with it. You're going to need elbow macaroni, cheese. I would love to have like the aged brick stuff. This is 2-year aged Parmigiano Reggiano cheese, and this stuff is the best stuff. If you use the powder stuff, get rid of it. It doesn't taste like anything like the real stuff. Now we're actually going to start cooking. So this is going to be our base of operations. First off, you're going to put butter in a pan. We're going to have that start melting. Final note with the pasta itself. Only cook it to be about 2/3 done, so just before al dente. Just because whenever we are making a baked spaghetti, because we are making a baked mac and cheese. So whenever you put it in the oven, it's going to continue cooking that extra third way. You have your butter melted. You're going to add flour to it. The correct ratio for roux is 1 tablespoon butter to 2 tablespoons flour. So I put in a 1/4 cup butter, so this is a 1/2 cup flour, and you're going to whisk it up. We're going to make a blonde roux. This creates a thickening agent because the flour and butter are going to adhere to any liquids, and it's going to make it thicker. I know I've thrown a lot of chefy terms around, so if you want me to make another video to go over it, make sure to put that in the comments below. But honestly, the concept behind a roux is really, really easy. Also, I can go into what a slurry is, which is just essentially the same concept, but made with cornstarch and water instead of butter and flour. Once you got that going, you're going to add 2 cups of heavy cream, 2 cups heavy cream, 2 cups milk, and then you're just going to add a ton of cheese. Also, now that the water is boiling, we're going to go ahead and throw in a bunch of salt, get that going, and generally speaking, you're going to want about like half of like a standard box, which I believe is a pound. You're going to want about a pound of noodles. Just an FYI, they do swell a lot. Okay. Once you whisk it smooth, you're going to add. Okay, now that I've narrowly avoided like the crisis, the first thing you should also never do whenever you're cooking is not pay attention to where you're cooking, which is where this went wrong. Now, so right now I'm finishing off my cheese sauce. I'll put the exact quantities of everything on the screen. Okay, while that's boiling and this is just kind of simmering, what I did differently that a lot of people don't do, or at least I've never heard of anyone else doing this, which might be a very common concept anyway. I added heavy cream before I added anything else to the roux, just because heavy cream has a higher boiling point. Because if you add milk to a searing hot pan and it instantly boils, what's going to happen is you're going to cook the milk. It's going to do something called breaking the sauce, which results in a whole bunch of small kernels in your soup and your sauce, which no one wants. I just added the velvita to the sauce. Now I'm going to add both of these. It calls for a lot of different cheeses, and honestly, you can kind of do it with whatever you like. Now that my pasta's done and my oven's preheated, all I have to really do right now is just focus on my sauce, and then we're good. You're just going to take the pasta, put it in the sauce, and then you're just going to bake it. We'll cover more of that in a second. Next up, you're going to grate your Parmesan cheese. All right, you're going to take the cheese that you just grated and throw that in your sauce and let it incorporate. If you have high blood pressure or need to watch your salt intake, I am also going to add salt to it. However, you can omit salt by adding more Parmesan cheese, just because Parmesan cheese, naturally speaking, is very, very salty. Okay, we're going to add some salt, some fresh black pepper. If you really don't care about your health, you can add bacon to this, and it's phenomenal. But I say that use caution, because this is already not healthy to begin with. We're going to keep that on a very low heat because cheese sauces hold heat very, very well. I do not want this to break. Alright. I'm going to add Italian seasoning and some more salt. All this is almost ready. Make sure you taste as you go. Alright. Last little bit of salt, and that looks phenomenal. Okay, now this is our cheese sauce. Very, very tasty, but now comes the tricky part. We get to add all the macaroni. We're so close to getting all the noodles out though. Fortune favors the bold. We're gonna figure out how to fit all this in the same pan. Okay, so I figured out the mass conundrum. So what I ended up doing, as you can probably see here, is I just took some of this out and I put it inside a tiny ramekin. And this is going to be the display model. But all in all, that worked out pretty well. Now we're going to do the topping. I meant to put more of the mild cheddar in the actual sauce, but in lieu of space, we're going to just put that on top, and then I'm going to grate some. Alright, so next up you're going to go ahead and take a microplane and you're going to grate some freshly grated parmesan on top of it. There we go. Now everything's all pretty. And just because I like them, I'm going to put some breadcrumbs on the small one. There you go. Now we're going to take all of the mac and cheese and we're going to throw it in the oven that we already have preheated for about 20 to 25 minutes, or until it's nice and bubbly. At that point, then we're going to take out, and then it's going to eat. The little ramekin's adorable.